Roding Valley is once again the least used tube station on the London Underground. In 2017, the most recent year figures were available for at the time of filming, the station received just 370,000 passengers per year, which is just over 1,000 per day. Chorleywood is the least used Metropolitan line station, with 750,026 passengers, and it's the only station outside of the M25 on this list. The least used Piccadilly line station was North Ealing, with plenty of characterful features such as this sign. It's almost quaint, especially for a station used by 827,387 people on a bit of the Piccadilly line which sees a 20-minute service. There is also a nice waiting shelter on the opposite platform as well. Here we have a graph of where the relative lines stack up in relation to each other. Upminster Bridge is the least used district line station with 1.1 million passengers. You do sometimes see empty carriages while travelling to some of these stations, with South Kenton on the Bakerloo line being one such station, only seeing 1.2 million passengers per year. But what factors are there as to why some stations are less used than others? David Edwards explains.
If you go for the sort of traditional socioeconomic, if you're at either end of the scale, so you're either very rich or very poor, you don't tend to use public transport, because if you're very rich, you have a car and you don't want to be interacting with other people, and if you're very poor, you can't afford it. You know, you've got places like Chorleywood or Moore Park, which, you know, that you're going to have families with pretty large incomes in those areas because they're not cheap areas to live in. They're outside of London as well. If you're very poor, again, don't have much money, bus is the cheapest way to get around London by a long shot. Commuting by tube is just not really economical enough. So they're much more likely to have jobs locally. They're much more likely, if they do have jobs locally, either walk, cycle, or use a bus to get there.
Goldhawk Road is the least used station on the Circle and Hammersmith and City lines with 2.14 million passengers per year. Cannons Park is the least used Jubilee line station with 3.07 million passengers. Finally, Black Horse Road is the least used Victoria line station with 9 million passengers per year.